Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, can you talk to me about what it's going to be like to fight in Hawaii? Are you excited to be laying on the beach and sipping
Yeah,
some
it's pretty cool.
cocktails?
I've never been to Hawaii, so that in itself is pretty cool. And then the Hawaiian fans seems like they really love a good scrap. So yeah, it's gonna be super cool being over there and throwing down. Looking
Are you
forward to
gonna
it.
are you gonna be able to kind of focus on the fight when you're in such a beautiful place that you've never been, such a tropic place? I mean, is it gonna be distracting?
I mean, usually when you're in fight week and stuff like that, you don't really, or I don't really like take the time to go around and look at stuff. I'm there for business, so it's gonna be the same old. Like I'm just gonna go there and for handling business, and then afterwards I'm gonna stay a couple of days and check out Hawaii.
You're gonna have to be in your hotel room with the drapes closed because it's beautiful everywhere.
It is.
Um, are you gonna be, you're fighting on the second card, correct?
Yeah, I'm on the 22nd. Yeah.
So are you gonna be able to watch that first card, or do you not want to? I've heard some people say they get too amped up. Some people say that they like it because it gives a little motivation. Like, what's the theory there with watching or not watching?
Actually, I haven't really thought about it. I think I'll take that like on the day, but probably not because when that card is going on, I've just weighed in, so I would have to rehydrate and all that stuff. And I don't think being in a arena packed with people and dudes are scrapping. I don't think that's the proper place to rehydrate.
What's your rehydration process like?
uh, like just drinking a lot of water, getting electrolytes, all that stuff in, and foods, and yeah. I hate actually I hate the rehydration process more than the cutting weight process because your stomach is like used to not like eating so much and all that stuff. So you just eat like a cherry tomato or something, and it feels like you're full, right? So yeah, but it's got to get done.
So how long
I,
does
I
the
think
group?
I also think like the rehydration process is more important than the weight cut in a sense because if you don't get it right, that can fuck you up really bad in the fight.
How long do you stay grumpy for after the weight cut? When do you
Uh,
kind of feel like normal again?
as soon as I start sipping water, it's kind of like Christmas Eve when you're like, oh, made the weight, and now you're just like, oh, it's done, it's over, and you can just drink and eat and do kind of whatever.
Are you going to do anything special? Like, are you going to go to a luau or anything to rehydrate? Or
No, no, no. I wish, but it would be risky going out on a restaurant or some stuff and then maybe get sick or whatever and then have to call out, like, I can't fight. I got food poisoning. Like, fuck, no, I ain't taking that risk.
So, can you just talk to me a little bit about your opponent? What were your thoughts when you got the name?
uh, we wanted to fight each other, so I was happy about that. Like, I saw I called him out on Twitter, and he apparently called me out as well. So that made sense. I was very happy that we got to scrap. I like his style. Like he's a very gritty fighter and a great competitor. So I'm just looking forward to go in there and put on a banger. Like I always say, I hope I always dream of making like a Gaddy Ward like fighting MMA, but I hope it never happens.
So, he kind of mentioned that he thinks that you guys are going to be, it's going to be a 3-round war.
Yeah.
That's what he's expecting. Does that excite you, knowing that he's kind of prepared for something like that?
No, he should be like as a fighter, you should be prepared for the worst. So, yeah, whatever happens, happens. I always say like if you expect to predict anything going into a fight, it's like a first class ticket to knockout. Will you just gotta go in and do you and focus on yourself, and that's what I'm planning to do.
And
Whatever happens, happens.
you mentioned that you called him out. Was it more of like a respectful, I would like to fight you, I respect you call out? Or is there something about him that you don't like and that's why you want to fight him?
No, he's to be honest, he seems like a cool cat. Like I just like his style. I think our styles can make up for a good fight. It sounds kind of messed up for me to say, but like in earlier in my career, I was very like result focused. Like it had to be a dub, and it didn't matter how the performance was and stuff like that. But I've had fights that I've won that felt like a loss because I thought my performance was shit. And I've had fights that I didn't win, but it felt like a win because I performed like a gangster. So for me, it's all about making a great fight and making a great performance. And of course, I want to win. I want to win like super, super bad, but it's all about making a great performance, making fights. So when I'm old, I can sit back with my kids or um, up and comers can sit on YouTube and watch my fights and be like, "Yo, that's bad, motherfucker, right there." Like I did when I was watching Gaddy, James Toney, Holyfield, all these dudes when I came up. Yeah, so putting on a great fight.
So what would a win over him do for your career? Where do you see it going after that?
From right now, all I can say is my calendar end on April 22nd. I don't want to think past him. He's a tough guy, so I got to put all my focus on him.
And there was some news that Patricio was going to be moving down to 135 to fight for the title, and that kind of leaves a little bit of a void in the featherweight division. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, from his standpoint, I kind of get it. He's pretty much done everything, and that's a thing that he hasn't done. So I understand it from his point of view, but I don't know, is he going to move back up to featherweight or what? Because I think for his featherweight career, I don't think it's smart for him to move all the way down to bantamweight. I think, especially taking his age into consideration, when you get to a certain age, you should only move up. You should never move down. And but yet again, I actually do think he knocks out Pettis. So yeah, I would have done the same probably if I was him.
So, seeing as you think he knocks out Pettis, he would be the champion, and he would be the first Bellator champion to have three, actually first MMA champion, I believe, to have titles in three divisions. What then happens to featherweight? Do you feel like there should be an interim title in the meantime?
There will probably have to be, but then again, maybe he goes down to bantamweight, cracks Pettis, move back up and fight whoever's in line for that title.
Yeah.
But
And
I think for him, I think it's a one and done. He wins the title, and then I did it back up again. I mean, that's
yeah,
what I would do if I was in his position.
I think so too. That has got to
Yeah,
be a hard weight cut, that to
yeah.
135. Um, I know I was at Biagio Ali's uh fight last week. He mentioned you quite a bit, how much you guys
Oh,
have helped. I'm wondering what you think of him as a fighter and when you think he might turn pro.
I don't know when he's gonna turn pro, but I think he's a gifted athlete and like he packs a good punch. And what's funny, me and him have talked about this because he's Muhammad's grandson. People automatically assume that he's a boxer, which but he actually never boxed before. He started with MMA, um, and I think from every fight that he's had that I've trained with him and seen, I think he's made leaps and bounds in, like in his wrestling and just in his all in all like improvements and stuff. So yeah, I think what he's doing right now is very smart, and he's a smart guy and he works hard and all that stuff. I wouldn't rush it if I was him. Yeah, so whenever he feels he's ready and his coach feels he's ready, that's when he's ready. Just for him right now, I would just say get as many fights as you can under your belt, because one thing is what you do in the practice room, but it's another thing being in there when the lights are on. But he's been passing that with flying colors his last couple of fights, so yeah, just keep doing you, and eventually he'll be where he want to be.
Do you worry? Because I worry that fighting on such a big stage as an amateur, it's gonna be harder for him to find amateur fights because the amateur fighters aren't gonna want to fight him.
I actually think a lot of people want to fight him because I think, and I saw his opponent saw this like, oh, like he's like this spoiled brat kind of that just got a chance that nobody else would get. And I think a lot of people would want to find him for that reason. And they think like, oh, he can't wrestle, huh? Easy, just go in and take him down and stuff like that. But he can wrestle, and yeah, I think it's going to be easy for him to get that to get amateur fights, especially because if a dude goes in and smokes Biagio, then PFL has their eyes right on him. So it's kind of a win-win. in a sense.
How do you think you would have how do you think your career would have been different if you had that route where you were an amateur fighting for like Bellator? Like how would that have changed your career? Do you feel like it would have, or do you feel like it was just destiny? This is where you were meant to be?
I've never really thought about that, but one thing I can say is like, mm, I don't know if this answers your question, but I feel like in MMA, what I've learned is, of course, you need to have some skill, but it's more being at the right place at the right time and knowing the right people. Like, you can be the best. I'm from Denmark, right? You could be the best out in Scandinavia or in Europe, but if nobody knows who you are, if Scott Coker don't know who you are, or like Dana or Ray Sefo, or nobody knows who you are, never seen you, you're never gonna get signed. And it doesn't matter if you're 20 and 0 or 30 and 0, it doesn't matter. So yeah, knowing the right people at the right time, that will give you an opportunity, and then it's all about seizing your opportunity.
And I guess my last question, I know you already mentioned that you're not looking too far ahead of, April 22nd, but do you have a call out in mind?
Mm, no, I'm right now. It's all about Gonzalez. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
thank you. Thanks
Have a
for
good
having
day.
me. Have a great day.